Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a timeless fairy tale where beauty is actually a curse, jealousy turns deadly, and justice, well, it's all served up thanks to a single pair of poisoned shoes.
Everything kicks off with this one little comment, just a random thought from a stranger on the street. But these few words, they're the tiny spark that's about to ignite a stepmother's dangerous, all-consuming envy. All right, let's set the scene. We're in a powerful Turkish sultanate, and our hero is a kind, gentle princess named Royha. And for her, her growing beauty is, unfortunately, about to become a serious curse.
So you have a Roja, who is just grace personified. And then you have her stepmother, Mirab, who is famous throughout the city for her own looks. But here's the problem. When Roja's father dies, there's suddenly nothing and no one left to protect the young princess from Mirab's growing jealousy.
So what does Mirab do? She tries to hide Roja away, locking her up in an attic. But it's no use. When some soldiers pass by and comment that the girl in the attic is even more beautiful than the woman on the balcony, Mirab's jealousy just festers until it explodes into what the story calls open madness.
So yeah, she's pushed past her breaking point. Mirab decides she has to get rid of Roja for good. She just can't stand living in a world where she isn't seen as the most beautiful.
She calls in a loyal female servant and gives her these chilling and very, very specific instructions. And those shoes, they are the key. That's the proof she demands to know the deed is done.
But this is where the story takes a turn, because Roja's own kindness inspires mercy. The servant, who's known the princess for years, just breaks down. She's in tears, confessing she just can't bring herself to do something so cruel.
And this is where we see just how incredibly resilient Roja is. I mean, instead of despairing, she takes control of the situation. She gives the servant an alibi, ventures into this totally unknown forest, and finds a new purpose. She starts bringing order to this chaotic palace she stumbles upon. So when the owners of the palace get back, they are completely stunned. They're totally charmed by her and her story, and they immediately ask her to stay. And for a little while, Roja actually finds safety and happiness with this new, chosen family. But you know how these stories go. This piece is tragically short-lived. A little bird flies from the forest all the way back to the Sultanate, and guess what? News of Roja's survival travels directly to the one person who wanted her gone. Mirab is filled with this renewed rage, and she seeks out a mermaid. Yes, a mermaid, who gives her the ultimate weapon, disguised as this beautiful gift. It's a curse that is literally designed to be irresistible.
And she is a master manipulator. She plays on Roja's kind and forgiving nature, putting on this whole theatrical display of tears and regret, begging Roja to accept the shoes as a sign that she's been forgiven.
And Roja, with her gentle heart, she falls for it. She accepts the gift, puts on the shoes, and collapses instantly. And watching from the window, Mirab whispers this, believing she has finally and permanently won.
Okay, so now we get to the real turning point of the story. This is where an act of profound grief meets a stroke of pure, dumb luck, and it's going to change Roja's fate forever.
When the Sheep brothers find Roja, they are just devastated. Their sorrow is so deep, they can't bring themselves to put her in the ground. And this act of love, which is really meant to be a final farewell, is actually the very thing that leads to her salvation.
So, by complete coincidence, a prince is sailing nearby and spots this strange floating raft. He's immediately captivated by Roja's beauty, but he's also really puzzled by just one little detail: her shoes.
In this simple, almost casual act, he's just tidying up really, he bends down, takes off the shoes, and just tosses them into the sea. He has absolutely no idea that he's just undone a powerful mermaid's curse. And just like that, life comes rushing back. The second the shoes are gone, the poison's effect vanishes. Roja's eyes flutter open, and she takes her first breath of a new life.
So Roja awakens. She's safe, and she tells the prince her entire story. The jealousy, the exile, the poisoned gift, everything. And he's completely captivated, not just by her beauty, but by her spirit. He takes her to his kingdom. They get married, and they start a new, happy life together.
And here you can see the final poetic justice of the story. Roja's inner beauty and kindness, they lead her to a life of love and peace. But Mirab,
Her obsession with her own external beauty leads to nothing but madness and destruction. It's a stark contrast.
Back in the Sultanate, without a rival to obsess over, Mirab's vanity and jealousy just turn completely inward. Her own destructive envy literally consumes her in the end as she disappears into the very same sea where Roja found her salvation.
So, this isn't just a story of good versus evil. It leaves us with a really interesting question. Where does the true magic of a story like this lie? Is it in the fantasy of it all, the curse, the prince, the happy ending? Or is it in the very real, very human lessons about kindness, resilience, and the self-destructive nature of envy? That, I think, is for you to decide.